everyone, this is Yash here, and today we have here with us. Should I say Bellissimo or should I say Simran Podar?
Simran Podar.
Great. Hi Simran, how are you?
Very good. Have you?
I'm great as well. And we have with us Divyanshu Agarwal, who likes to call himself a digital marketer, and Abhiraj Goswami, who is apparently pursuing political science.
Hi guys.
Great.
Not apparently,
Yeah.
like real actually.
Great.
Influencers play a vital role in our life, in any decision making or purchasing pattern or anything in life.
Of course they do. I think in today's digital era that we are surviving in, influencer plays a very, very major role. I'll tell you how. So before, like nowadays, people do not have much patience to, watch television or, any medium of other advertisement for that matter, like through the medium of radio or magazines or papers or television for that matter. Hence, in this digital era, like there are these influencers only play like a bigger role in order to influence people against any brand or campaign. So of course they do. If so they are the trend setters, they are the current trend setters, if we can say like that. So yeah, like they do, like especially in young generation, they do play a major role. So yeah.
So do
Yeah,
influencers? Yeah, continue.
Yeah, because I think
Yes.
the older generation, like our parents, they are still
Hmm.
stuck in TV. They're still into daily soap opera.
Yeah.
And they consume the advertisement that is shown on the TV, and
Yeah,
they're not
right.
into the digital medium. Yeah, that
And
was.
we are the highest consuming media, so like in terms of online content. So I think for youngsters especially, the influencers play a very, very big role.
So do you think influencers have a responsibility in their hand when they cater to such a large audience? Keeping
Of
in
course they
mind the
have a
current situation as well.
Of course they have a huge responsibility to play, Divyanshu, in the sense that they cannot be promoting anything and everything just because they are being paid or getting a high barter value. Especially me, like I cannot approve of promoting anything which is not credible for me also. If I think this product is not going to create any good to me, I'm not going to promote the same for the audience. Then what's the point of me for promoting if there is no advantage for my viewers, on those particular brand campaign or products that I'm intending to promote via my content.
Right. Right now, what I see on most of the influencers are doing are that leveraging the fact that people are online, like their screen time has increased drastically. So they're leveraging the fact. Should they, instead of just entertaining the audience, should they put across a message like precautionary message or protocols that people should follow during the lockdown instead of just random entertainment that they do generally?
Yes, definitely yaar. Matlab, these maybe for example, like steps to follow when you are stepping out,
Right.
that might be useful. Like if you're supposedly you're going to buy grocery and vegetables, which is a necessity, we should always like guide them ki what are the simple steps that you can take in order to be safe. So that's a very important thing, like that you can talk about. This spreads more and more of alertness in the same manner.
Right. Abhiraj, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice to hear that Simran, who does represent a part of the upcoming generation of influencers and upcoming people, like the generation that will actually go into marketing in the future and everything. And I think she talks about she basically talks about responsibility, and I think that is very important because again, and our parents' generation will prove testimony to this, the fact that a lot of people promote a lot of content that they are absolutely paid for. Like they don't have the moral high ground in deciding whether that content is good for the people or not. If somebody gives you the money, if somebody tells you to promote it, you will promote it. That was the entire idea of influencing the public, and that is
Yeah.
that's what companies.
And as a citizen, I think you're very, very important. Be it you are an influencer, you're a brand or anybody. Like I think you as a citizen of the country, you hold like equal responsibility when like, especially when such things arrive, like when there's like a big disease called coronavirus. So I'll tell you, one brand sent me like 150 sanitizers for me to distribute it to like all the security guards, all the
Okay.
poor people. So I think that was a great idea that they did. It was not for any campaign, it was not for any promotion, but it was just, they just felt it to be a necessity for everybody to use sanitizer at this very crucial time. So I think this is how we show our concern to every citizen in our country. So that's what I really appreciate.
Yeah, so that's what, right? Like you're talking about responsible like marketing. You're not talking about rampant marketing because people just, they give you some sort of a reward and they ask you to propagate some sort of an idea. That was what used to happen. But then
Right.
what you're saying, this is the trend with modern influencers. They actually care about their audience. And
Yeah.
even the company that is promoting, they might not. And that's an entirely different discussion altogether. But then the people, like the middle, like the brokers, technically in this case, who are the influencers, they regulate the idea of how the people feel about the company and how the company feels about the people. And that is where they're including responsibility. That's where they're including empathy for the audience. I think that is a beautiful thing to do, because at the end of the day, they are also upholding some kind of a role model. They're upholding some kind of an idea that, okay, even if we are going to promote something for some company who most probably have no idea of who they're selling their products to, they don't care what the consequences of selling their products are. But these people, like these influencers, they come in and they say, okay, but we know our audience, we care for them, we really want them to come back to us, which is why we should be responsible in the way we promote content and ensure that whenever there's a challenging situation like the COVID-19 case that you're mentioning, like the situation right now, they can play a huge role in actually propagating ideas of how to work better through the lockdown. And they know that there are people looking up to them. There are people who will follow what they ask them to do. And I think when you take responsibility and when you take empathy, I think that makes it all the more better for everybody.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. So do you think influencers actually care about their followers, or is it just that they're scared of the backlash that they might receive if they don't show concern for their followers?
I would say that it's a bit of both, and if you take these as two systems, their love for their followers and wanting to come back, and backlash which they might face if they don't continue with the consistency of the content, they kind of go back and forth, and there's a constant push and pull which actually leads them to be responsible. Because if even one pillar goes missing, then you notice how it's going to work, right? They're going to promote anything and everything, not care about their audience, but all the more continue doing so because most probably they'll be selling their brand very well. And if they're not being responsible in the way they do things, they might actually prove to be very dangerous for the people out there. So this entire fear of losing followers, which actually leads to their love for their followers, I think this is a very good balance that's set in place, which actually leads to this idea of responsibility.
I think the balance is more difficult to have as an influencer, because on one hand you need money, that is your bread and butter, that's how you earn, and on the other hand you have responsibility. So I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it won't be easy, and that is something I actually wanted to ask Simran, since this is some like the kind of thing that you do. How do you separate, like, you're promoting one particular brand and you may not always agree with what you're promoting, all right, even if it has the best intentions for your people, right? But you as an individual, you're not using that particular brand. So how do you manage keeping your private life and professional life separate? Because I think that is something I can't wrap my head around.
है कभी कभी where Like in 1 month, I've changed my skincare routine like for 7-8 times just to try different brands, because you have to give different testimonials to people sometimes, because they actually ask you ki, how did this product turn out. Like there are like so much of rush in the market in terms of brands now, it's overflowing, so obviously people are confused which brand to use, which product to use. So I think it's a huge chaos in the market right now. But I think every brand has its own USP, I believe. So basis that, I think a particular brand surely wins or not wins. But yeah, but you have to use every brand like which you are intending to promote. Without using, I don't think you will be able to instruct or talk about it in the manner that you and your audience would want to hear.
There is a flow of brands in the market, and we also know that there are a lot of influencers. So, do you think the influencer market and the influencer industry is saturated, or do we need more influencers to come up and, there is a demand for influencers as well?
Totally saturated when we talk about influencer market, because I feel everybody is so fascinated with the fact of being influencer. Everybody thinks it's very very easy to be an influencer, especially the budding ones, especially the ones who are wanting to be, especially the young girls. I'll tell you, they just feel that you have to be like camera friendly and you're sorted being an influencer. But it's not that. Every A B C D E F G dash 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 category wants to be an influencer, which has definitely created a big chaos for other influencers also. Because not like, see, like if you talk about popular influencers like Anam Chashmawala, Masoom Meenawala, then you have Sherry, Navak, Trishala, Rian George. They have created a benchmark for themselves. Now you see, like, I know we are the budding ones, but like anybody is promoting anything. Anybody is wearing anything just to, being just for being paid. Like, I don't think so. I don't even follow those people. Like, even if they tell me, can you please do this brush challenge with me? Can you please promote my page? I'm like, no. Like, first I see the content, and if I believe on it, then surely I extend my support, because we belong to the same community. But I seriously feel that influencer market is really like gone right now. Like, it's gone because everybody is so fascinated. Oh, you're a fashion blogger. Oh, you get free products. Oh my god, then I'm surely going to take this as my career path. And I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's not that easy. Everything looks fancy, but it's not. A lot of back preparations also is needed. A lot of your knowledge is needed when you're entering this market. You can't be just talking about anything you want on social media. You need to have credible sources. You need to have little bit of your own common senses in order to, just talk about it. That's what, like, your personality is reflected via this medium. So that's what I believe.
God, these people find it so fascinating because that's what they see. They just see the glorious part of being an influencer and not what goes behind and all the hard work that the influencers have to go through.
Yeah, like it's just looks little glamorous ki haan bas picture hi to click karna hai, you'll get free lipsticks, free MAC products, free makeup, bas yahi sab. So why not, let's start. But they don't know now what's there. So you really have to plan your content. If you're promoting any ABCD brand, you really need to be sure about it. You really need to have your own preparations with your team. You need to have a photographer, you need to have a location, you need to have a makeup artist if you want. You need to know what your target is, in order to, what you want out of that promotion. How many people are you wanting to target? So all that comes into play.
Right. I think it's a lot like like it's a lot like we were small and we used to see movie stars and everything like Bollywood or like Hollywood, and what we saw was like basically them in very expensive cars and their private jets and attending parties and everything and going to the Oscars and all that, and maybe that's like just the tip of the iceberg for them, but then there's a lot underneath that happens, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of families breaking apart, a lot of things that happens to actually get them there. And what we see them is at their peak, not what has actually led to that. So I think a lot of people also believe the same thing with regard to the influencer culture. The only difference being that if you want to be in a particular industry, you have to be like that particular person, like an actor, right? If you want to be a part of the circuit, you have to be an actor. That has to be like your first, second, third, fourth, fifth important thing. Be an actor, then things come later. But then the way in which influencers actually promote their content, that is extremely accessible as compared to, let's say, somebody like a Bollywood superstar or something like that. People know that they can be that person, but in 5 to 10 years. However, things like Facebook and Instagram, they give you instant gratification. Like, you immediately get a like, and in an hour you're immediately like 100 comments down, 100 likes up, 100 love reacts, 100 thumbs up, and that is validation that really feeds people's brains. And when they see other people getting that success overnight and literally in weeks, and after that promoting the biggest brands in the market, they think that this is something we can easily do, which is why I think there's a lot of saturation in the market that you were talking about. And I think accessibility is one thing that really drives the influencer culture. Because if Instagram was something that people had to pay for, then I don't think this culture would have existed in the first place. Right?
Right.
Abhiraj, so don't you think the instant validation that people have right now and the validation from the number of likes and views that we get have a negative impact on the mental health of the influencer or the person who's trying to be an influencer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's a disease in the long term. I mean, just people don't see it coming. It's like it works both ways actually. I mean, look at the system you're actually under. You open Instagram, right? You see somebody's video promoting a certain brand with, let's say, 500,000 views, right? So your first thought is, okay, I want to be that person. And very strangely enough, people who view these videos, they pay very little attention to what is being promoted. They rather see who is promoting them, their background, what they do, how they got to that place. And this is a very interesting observation. I don't know if people have actually thought about this. They always think that, okay, if they're promoting shoes, I'll buy those shoes. But no, they look at the person. Why is she promoting shoes? What has led her to promote shoes? Who is she? That is really the thought that goes on. So immediately the first thing you're thinking is, oh, I want to be them. And from that point onwards, the degradation of your mental health starts, because you compare your life to them, compare each and everything you're doing to what they're doing, each and every moment. Because in your life, maybe for drinking a glass of water, you're not going to get 500,000 views, and that will start making you sad eventually. And to the influencer, on the other hand, if they're getting 500,000 views, the fact that they're not getting 600,000 views is going to lead to their mental health deterioration. So if ignored, like this entire aspect of how people are being harmed, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that stop the culture, it's a bad thing, people are being harmed. Absolutely not. In any kind of scenario, everybody is undergoing some kind of mental health trauma. Absolutely, in varying degrees, some high, some less. But what I'm saying is, what people don't seem to realize is this actually gets internalized, and people grow with this. And I think insecurities start from this point onwards, which is very much ignored. And if people keep ignoring that, I don't know what they'll actually go through during the phases of their life when they have to be confident about things like a family, things like a job, things like stability, things like settling down. And this will actually permeate into those deeper levels. And it sounds apocalyptic, absolutely, I get that. But it happens, and we've seen it happen. So yeah.
Abhiraj, I would just argue one thing here. So I totally agree with the point that people are actually attracted with who the person is, the one who's promoting. Okay, so what is your take when it comes to the views and the figures of followers specifically, and the number of views? I think in today's world, there are so many Instagram tools, and there are so many service managers who are giving fake followers, who are earning fake likes, fake views. So how can a person know if this influencer is doing this, this influencer is having 30 or 50,000 views? How do you know it's correct or not correct? Because it's very much possible to buy those views even for 300-400 rupees.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So don't you think it's made the life of those influencers who are actually putting in effort to create their content a little more difficult, and also for the people like the audience, for them to decide ki are these influencers credible enough to follow or not? Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, the tragedy of the entire thing is the fact that there actually exists something like buying likes in the first place. And that
Yeah.
comes again because of the entire idea that, oh, the likes and the love reacts are statistics that actually keep you going throughout the day, make you believe you're successful, and just keep doing that each and every day until, I don't know. I don't know the until. So it's a continuous process that just keeps happening. And then you stop being an influencer on Instagram, and then you move on to bigger things. You move on to actual ad campaigns by companies. You move on to like the page threes of newspapers. You go on to like the magazine covers and everything. As the eventual path people want to take, right? So with regard to that, the very fact that likes and validation can be bought nowadays really shows you where this influencer culture has gone, and it's gone to a place where we don't actually want it to. It started
So, and it's Abhiraj, it's so annoying. Like, every day you'll have those DMs where you have those random people messaging, random pages messaging you, "Oh, madam, you want likes, madam, you want followers." I'm sick and tired. I have blocked at least 21 pages for that matter. And
it's an
still,
entire business model, right?
matlab, I don't know what, and people are actually buying for that matter. I'm telling you, that is why these people are functioning so actively.
Absolutely.
You get
And
it?
and if your happiness is regulated by statistics like likes or like reacts on something as abstract as a website, then I think that becomes a problem, because people internalize it. People forget how to seek happiness beyond that, and the worst thing they do is it just doesn't stop with them. The worst thing they do is they sell this idea along with their product to the next person watching, to the people who want to get influenced by them. So it's not just about, okay, buy this particular shoe. It's about, if you buy this particular shoe, you can be me, you can get these likes, and you can lead the kind of life that I am leading. That is the idea
Yeah,
that most people try to
that
sell.
makes.
What do you guys have to think about it?
Yeah, Instagram did not remove my likes thing, so I really don't know.
No, I mean, like the idea.
Likes to zarurat hai nahi. Even if people are not liking it, it's fine. So
So-
I think
Acha.
Do you-
likes होना चाहिए यार. It shows कि how much people are engaging on your post.
Do you think influencers are like underpaid in so like people don't-
Underpaid, they're
Yeah.
exploited.
Okay.
Why would you say that?
I would say that because I have witnessed the same. I don't know what, like big brands also, I'll tell you, there's one jewelry. I had written a story on this, okay? I had posted a story about this. I remember, I think 4 months back. So a brand like Tanishq, they wanted us to post a picture going to their store and, promoting their XYZ collection. Okay. And for that, can you beat that? What did they say? Ma'am, you please come to our store for this collection launch, and we'll be giving you 500 rupees. How do you even write these emails? Like, how do you have that audacity? What kind of a PR team are you having? How can you even think of running these campaigns? What do you think of us to be? It's a huge slap on our face, I believe. Like I don't know, madam, we are sending you these products at your address. Please, can you do one story for free? What is all this here to talk?
So our brand disrespectful towards the influencers. The
Yeah,
budding
they think
influencers.
Yeah, so I told one of the brands, ki sir, even I have a team. We work together, so even I have certain budget, and I have to spend everything from my pocket. The brand went on, Simran, you have to click. Just do one thing. Just click one picture at your home and give us a post. I was like, I am not doing this kaam chilao wala kaam. I want my things to be planned, professional, and everything. Why should I just hold a product for you for free? Like, why? So I think they are disrespectful. They feel our work is very, very simple, which is so wrong.
Right. So I think I think a lot of influencers are taking the free products and endorsing their brands and putting out pictures, like you said. I think that also is creating a disruption in the market. Ki brands are giving us 10,000 ka their products, and you know we should do it for the sake of it, in the expectation ki aage kaam aayega.
But,
वो brand से.
but I don't think we should be very surprised when brands do this, because now it's happening with influencers. Previously, it used to happen with the workers of the brand and everything. Like look at the history. Why did influencing culture even come into come into being in the first place? It's because brands thought that, okay, instead of spending millions and millions of like long ad campaigns and everything, and like distribution and networks and all that, let's just grab in a couple of people who might want to use our products firsthand. So we're giving them authenticity, we're giving them proof, and then what they'll do is they'll just market it amongst the other people, and they have good social media reach or something, and so they can just they can get the word flowing. So if you think about it, these brands obviously did not want to invest as much, at least like a good percentage of their budget behind this, because to them the entire thought of this is, acha, this is promotion, but it's free. We're not spending our proper PR budget and everything behind this. So if that is the philosophy that they're using for promotion of their materials through influencers and people who actually want to climb up the ladders of marketing, then I think the exploitation will go unchecked through and through. We'll just keep complaining about it. So I think, like, with the responsibility that influencers have towards their audience and everything, towards social issues, I think they also have to go back and hold brands into account for actually meting out justice to the people who are promoting their brands. Because without these influencers, these brands will have no hold on the market on Instagram or the market on the social media avenue. So they don't even know how much their influencers are working for them, how much they're promoting their content, how much they're breaking their own backs to sell that product. So I think they really have to show some gratitude at the least, and maybe pay adequate amounts at most.
We feel that the influencers are being underpaid and all that, but again, how do we justify the amount that the influencers charge the brands? How is that justified? Like, how do you...
Every influencer has their own every influencer draws their own charges basis their figures of followers and engagement rate. So these two are the main criterias of where you quote your prices. So brand, like supposedly a brand is approaching you, firstly they are going to see a follower rate, and then they're going to check your engagement ratio, and then they also, like, there are few brands who asks for your insights,
Okay.
the post insight, and basis that they you quote the XYZ price, and then you have to, both the parties have to agree on that.
So is there any market rate, like say for example, agar 20-30,000 followers hai, so we'll have, this is the price range that they charge. If they have 1 million followers, this is the price range that they charge. Is there any price bracket in the market?
Yeah, there are different criterias for different people, and so supposedly a person having 20,000 followers will always like be charging for like maybe, I don't know if I can tell the exact rates here, under 5,000 maybe for one post, and a person with, and if you have million followers, then of course like they would have their different budget and different charges to quote. So I think every influencer has their own charges to.
What were you talking about?
Yeah, I think it's time, and without any delay, we should address the elephant in the room, TikTok. As to how do we think how important TikTok is in an influencer's life?
What I feel is TikTok is like a gateway. Jisko like like people are finding it an easy way to become an influencer or gain a huge amount of followers. That's what I've noticed. I don't know how exactly it goes. Like Simran, what's your take on this?
Yeah, like Bruce and I was like, I was very skeptical, when it came to me joining TikTok. Then I actually saw like bigger influencers, like my favorite influencers, like the popular ones also joining TikTok. I was like, heck yeah, I did my full research and everything on TikTok. And trust me, when I like got to know like China is earning so much through TikTok, I was like, why are we Indians like getting so fascinated with that app, and why are we doing all this? But I think for influencers, I think they're forced to do it at this moment, especially like during the quarantine time, because people are more consuming consuming online content. So social media, and how much, like even elders for that matter, every day they'll have like different TikTok videos popping on their WhatsApp chats and everything. So those people who have already become stars on TikTok, I think it makes sense for them. But for the budding influencers, I don't think it's really important or makes much of a difference once you punch yourself on TikTok. So yeah.
Also, I think TikTok is also trying to, attract the elderly generations, like our parents. They're coming up with various challenges. Who is the more naughtier one, who eats more, and something of that sort. They are also trying to capture that market, I feel.
Yeah.
Abhiraj, do you have any, Indian influencer that you look up to, like your favorite one, or someone you just look up to very often, and why?
Not per se. I don't go through their content much. I just, like when I'm searching like the Instagram search thing. So like when I'm going through that, I see a lot of posts and everything. A lot of people doing challenges or like things like that. Once in a while, I just step in to see what they're promoting, what content they're putting forward. The more interesting thing is I look at their comments, and I look at like the people who are commenting, the people who are who are like going to DM them or things like that, people who are viewing those videos. And I think that is what I think that is really what attracts me to this influencer culture, because I think it's more about who are the kinds of people who follow these influencers, and it says a lot about them and what they expect from the internet and what they expect out of their entertainment, like how entertainment has delocalized so much for them. And I think that's very interesting. And on the topic of influencers per se, I don't follow people who sell products or something like that on Instagram. On YouTube, I would say, okay, it's very nerdy of me to say this, but I do follow a couple of professors who talk about influencer culture and all that. And I follow a couple of people who kind of dissect this culture in terms of academia and all that. So this is the stuff I like, and this is what interests me. This keeps me going. This is my love react. So that is what, yeah. So that's the kind of content I like, and that's the kind of content I follow.
Makes sense.
So for me personally, I like Prajakta Kohli and Bhuvan Bam, both YouTubers, influencers on Insta as well. I
like Prajakta, yeah.
Yeah, like
I like her creativity.
Yeah, the creativity, the content that they have is really like, it's different. I feel it's different from other influencers or YouTubers, for the matter of fact, who are there online. And and I think they have they play a...
It's a great source of entertainment for so many people, yeah. Like what Prajakta and like people like Dolly Singh.
They're huge fans of Dolly Singh. Like I get sent videos on like groups and everything, and I'm like, acha, theek hai.
Yeah. Oh God, she does like 5 different roles in one video. It's so difficult to edit. I really don't know how she manages. Even if I have 2 roles in the video, I'm like, oh God, editing is a huge task. So I really don't know how do they manage, but I think it's a very difficult task to make such videos. Yeah, hats off to these people who've given us a benchmark to follow. I think there is no end to this. There is no end to this creativity level. I just feel like people are just doing anything and everything in order to sell their content, and which is fair enough. Like they're like working for hours just to
Yeah.
edit like 1 minute ka video. So you see the kind of effort and you see the kind of dedication they have in order to attract people.
Real talent.
Personally, my favorite is Ranveer Alavadya.
Beer
His
biceps.
talent, his channel is Beer Biceps. Yeah,
Beer
I think
biceps, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really like his content. I think it's educational, motivating, and everything
Yeah.
that one demands. It's entertaining as well. Also, his
I really
podcast.
like the way he interviews people.
Yeah. That's what.
Hmm.
His podcasts are really interesting and intriguing.
Yeah.
If I may say.
For me, I think I like Asha Shroff, I like Santoshi Shetty, I like Shireen Lavabag, I like Masoom Minawala, I like Roshni Bhatia, I think I like Larissa, I like there are so many people who I like. So I think I've grown up watching them. So that's how this Kida got into me. Ki nahi, even I have to do something like this, yaar, because from the very childhood I really used to like playing dress up and talking to different people, and I was very much into networking. I was very much into talking verbally and everything, debating. So I was like, why not? So that's how I chose this medium.
Yeah, even I like. Yeah, and what do you guys think about influencers who are like different in their field? Say, for example, Dinchak Pooja.
Oh my God.
Um,
I think she has more than 10 million views in one of her songs. Selfie wala song.
I mean, it is catchy. We have to agree. See, it's like there are all kinds of people on social media, right? Some people will behave like they are the people who should regulate content, and whatever they say is final. And if content is not up,
Simran, I have a few questions, like 3 questions, which can only be answered if you are in the influencer industry. Yeah. So one of them is what are actually the perks of being an influencer?
Yeah, I think the perks are that the perks come as soon as people start to like your content, and as soon as brands start to recognize you, because that is how like you get to actually feel the perks. Like, for example, so any brand or if any brand introduces a XYZ product in the market, so you know that before it goes to the racks of different stores, it's going to come to you to try
Right.
the product. So I think that is the biggest perk what I feel could be. And
Okay. And are there any dark sides of being an influencer, like which we do not see? Like Bollywood has those casting couches. Is there anything of that sort in the influencer industry?
yeah, I'll tell
Can
you
you
what.
please? Yeah.
There is, since I just told you guys, right, that I just spoke about this huge chaos created in the market. So I just feel anybody is getting anything to promote, which I feel is unfair. So supposedly, if I don't get like a particular campaign, I don't get a call from that particular brand, and the same content is being promoted by a different person who's just judged with the number of figures they have. Like, there are so many people who are having like fake followers, but who knows that nobody has time to even search those accounts and verify if it's actually authentic and credible enough to trust on. So I think basis that followers, their figures of followers, they are just given anything to promote, which feels unfair on our part, on in the sense like which feels unfair for those bloggers who actually put in efforts and who do not get that particular campaign, who are not able to crack that campaign because there is so much chaos that brands are brands and PRs, they are approaching anybody and everybody just because they have like 50-60,000 followers, which could be like fake enough, because I know the fact they have like that content is not very good and everything. So I think that is a darker side of the whole scenario, which I feel.
Cool. So I think with that we come to the end of the podcast.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for joining,
happy.
Simran.
Thanks for having me.
Very, very happy, Divyanshu, Yash, Abhiraj. I had a great conversation. I did not expect we'll end up talking for an hour, but I think I did not even realize how did it go. I had to go for a workout, but I think I enjoyed this session a little more. So thank you to you guys, yaar. I feel through this conversation I have vented out so much, which was so much needed. So I think it was a good session. Like, I feel rejuvenated now. I feel, I talked sense, or I had a good conversation with these three guys.
Yeah, even we got to learn a lot, the insights of the industry.
Yeah. I'm glad that you guys arranged for this Zoom call.
That's great.
Take care, guys. Thank you so much. All the very best. I hope this podcast turns out to be little useful for you guys, and I hope it like people hear it. Kuch to bhav mile hame bhi. Let's see how it turns out to be. So,
Indeed.
and Abhiraj, all the very best to you too for your content, and take care.
I don't make content per se. I was saying I'm not a content creator. I'm a university student. I still write papers. So but then what I was saying is that I did learn a lot from the entire interaction. Like, there was a lot of things I did not know. A lot of things she said about how people buy likes and everything. How people actually get by other people. How honesty is undercut, like in most other places. But then how it's undercut in different ways. But it was a very enriching conversation, and I do hope to further explore this culture and actually learn more perspectives about what people do, where they want to end up, and what they think of it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And thanks a ton to you guys for having me on this.
Oh, please,
Thank you.
Okay, that was it from our side, guys. Please keep listening. That was great.
We hope you liked it.
Like, share, and follow. And stay home and stay safe.
Great.
Done.
That's it then.
Yeah, that was it.
Thank you guys. Until next time. Yeah.